Hello, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and especially rising sign. June of 2023 is going to be a very interesting time when it comes to significant business partnerships, love relationships, and especially powerful ability to reach your audience, your marketplace, clients, and customers if those matter to you. Some stabilization in your spending and finances occurs while you get a bit of a sweet touch in the area of your chart that represents your home, property, land, real estate, where you live, and some expansion and positivity there. Let's get going and talk about how this June will unfold for you in greater detail. But first, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothy, and I am using the Western Tropical Zodiac. I am using whole sign houses, and I love asteroids. And if you stick around and subscribe and hit my like button, you're going to get a lot of really interesting information from me about the minor asteroids as they play out through our collective sky over the months ahead. Also, by the way, I teach classes. I have a Patreon community. I have a Cosmic Moonshine weekly newsletter. All of these offer great benefits and perks, such as on Patreon, all the content on YouTube that you get on the public side is delivered free of ads to them before you ever see it. If you want early access, free ad-free content before the general public, you might want to spend $5 a month, and also meet me twice a month for Zoom calls. Depends on your tier, but all tiers get one Zoom call a month with me on the Patreon community with replays available. Thanks for listening to the big pitch there, and let's get going and talk about Aquarius. I'm one of you, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign, and what we've got coming up in our sky this month. Now, first of all, I'll show you. No, I won't show you. I'm not going to show you the chart. It's really complicated. No, I'm just going to talk to you about it. So first of all, I am not sharing anything, so I just make sure I'm not doing that, and I'll get going. So I'm recording today on the 22nd of May, and this will probably be made public on the 24th. So let's get started and talk about you. You're Aquarius rising. You've got Pluto in the house of you until June the 11th. It's a big deal. We're starting there. We're starting in a different place than I started at with any other sign, because the flavor of Pluto in Aquarius started around March the 23rd and is closing out on June the 11th as Pluto retrogrades into Capricorn and leaves your sign. This is going to feel, for some of us, like a bit of a relief. Something that was heavy, weighty, super intense is leaving our identity house or sun and moon proximity. If you have a sun, moon, or rising sign in the first 4 degrees or 3 degrees of Aquarius, certainly you felt this intensity of this Pluto presence a little bit more, but nonetheless, no one can miss the feeling of Pluto as intense as he is moving into Aquarius, even if you're a 29-degree Aquarian ascendant, and he'll be there for 20 years until 2044. But this was his first ingress. Now he'll be back in January next year, and for most of next year, minus 2 months in the fall, and then for the rest of the years until 2044, we'll see Pluto moving through the sign of Aquarius. So it feels to us, probably us Aquarians, in the month of June, halfway through, like the 12th of June onwards, like a bit of a relief. You're going to feel like, oh my goodness, this heavy energy is kind of backed off. I don't have to be so all-knowing, all-powerful, all-self-transforming, all in control and all of that stuff. You're going to feel like you can let go, let God a bit. And I mean that because Pluto in the 12th house, where he's gone back, Capricorn, is your let go, let God, transcendence, Akashic records, past lives, a spiritual awakening, full-on moksha house for spiritual liberation. A lot of Aquarians have had certain degrees of spiritual liberation since 2008 with Pluto moving through the 12th house, and Pluto is back for a last taster. Now, some of us who make revenue from foreign lands and shores through PayPal, Stripe accounts and payment processors because you're internationally driving online revenue, Pluto has powered us up to succeed there. And as Pluto is going back here to 9 to 27 degrees of Capricorn over the next June through to January, we could expect to receive more financial goodness in that area of our chart if it makes sense to you. Otherwise, it's just more of that spiritual intensity, keeping on, keeping on. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that we have a very, very rare transit of Venus. We're going to go through the big picture here of major planetary transits through signs. Then we're going to narrow it down to some specific details. And we'll be doing a separate video for a lot of this, including Jupiter North Node coming together in your 4th house. That will be a separate video coming out at the end of May and early June. So check that out when it arrives. We're also not covering the moons new and full. I do whole videos on that. So let's talk about Venus. Venus is a goddess of money, love, kindness, friendliness, and goodness. When she moves through your seventh house once every year, she's there for a maximum of 4 weeks. This time it is 4 months. She arrives on June the 5th and exits around October the 9th, depending on where you live. And she's really good here for the following things: giving you an absolute tremendous glow up in your relationship sector. This can mean that all of a sudden you are falling in love with a significantly beautiful or handsome person, or beautiful and handsome people are falling in love with you. You may also find that if you're with somebody already in a marriage-like monogamous relationship, this makes it more harmonious, joyful, and enjoyable. And your significant other, spouse type person, gets the lucky benefits of that Venus transit for 4 months. Their lives get more enjoyable and lucky. They receive a super glow too. So also Venus here is really good if you want to market, sell, and promote with a persuasive edge. Think of Mad Men, think of advertising industries. I mean, she is popular, persuasive, and commanding in Leo, and she's in the house of clients, audience, and others, and the marketplace, 10th house from your 10th house. And in that regard, if you are anybody who has products you sell or services you want to market or share with the world, an audience you wish to develop, this is going to give you an incredible, tremendous surge. I'm hoping, as Aquarius rising, this is going to get me to my 100,000 subscribers goal by the end of the year by giving me a super glow up in my audience space, June, July, August, and September. What do you want for this? You know, as an Aquarian, you could also be really deepening an existing love relationship. Now, I want to talk about a little context here, because she will be here for 4 months, including a retrograde. And we'll do a separate video on the longer transit of Venus to talk about that retrograde later in July. But Mars arrived in your seventh house of significant relationships on May the 20th, and he was without Venus. Venus wasn't with him. And this includes clients, this includes business partners, this includes love relationships. And he will be all alone there until June the 5th. That puts you in a bit of a vulnerable time between May 20th and June the 5th, in which arguments with your significant other, business and love, are very likely. Disagreements, arguments, or conflict. It may also just mean that your partner is going through a very troubled or difficult time, and they're in internal or external turmoil and conflict in some area of their life. Then Venus arrives on the 5th of June and smooths it out, cools down Mars in Leo, takes the heat out of the marriage and business partnership house, and things should cool down or calm down after that. So if you're in the thick of some tense intensity there, especially around May 20th to the 24th, when we have the opposition to Pluto square to Jupiter, then just relax, take a chill pill. This will not be sustainable. Now, what will also happen here is that Venus can bring females into your life who are going to benefit you in some way. Female allies and friends, people who want to support you, who are women and can be helpful in your life during that time, starting June 5th through to October. Remember? Also, this is a month in which Mercury will move into his home sign of Gemini, giving him great strength. And every year you experience this in the house of children and romance, independent business enterprise, and creativity, and that is your 5th house. So this is a time of year, usually, when Mercury makes his ingress, that you feel really good. June the 11th to the 27th this time around. Just as Pluto gets the heck out of Aquarius, Mercury steps into Gemini. So a nice feeling here of more social life, more fun, more play, more laughter, more pleasure. Maybe even if you're in an independent business enterprise, marketing, merchandising, and selling abilities and actions are heightened, and you may be doing very well. Also, lots of communications and discussions and conversations with your lover or your romantic partner or your significant or your children can be happening. Certainly June 11th to the 27th, having Venus in your 7th and Mercury in your 5th means there's a lot of loving and really flowing ease and grace in the conversations and connections and fun and play you are having with your partner in love. Mercury here definitely can help you win a lottery ticket. Now, that's not the most important thing here, but he can rule games of chance, and he's going through the lottery win house. The sun will be there for a while. Venus is sextiling from the house of legal contracts. I'm sure when you win a lottery, you have to sign a legal document. And she's also the owner of your 9th house of courts and government bureaucracies, from which those lottery gains come. So certainly June 11th to the 27th, don't be shy about buying a now and then some kind of gamesmanship, money winning endeavor, raffles, lottery tickets, whatever else you might have in your country or state or province. Now also, we also have the idea that Saturn is going to station to go retrograde on June the 17th at 7 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is your money house, earnings, your, how you preserve your wealth. I mean, Saturn's going to help you preserve your money, save your money, contain your spending, and increase your financial gain until 2026, because he's not letting you spend all your money as he goes through your second house. He's getting you really serious and stable in your earning structures and strategies. He's only been there since the 7th of March and leaves on February of 26. And already I've made some significant changes in my business model, my booking calendar, how I'm operating. I'm getting more realistic. I cannot see this many clients. I cannot be booked out for a whole year in advance. That's ridiculous. So these kinds of are sober-minded, realistic changes Saturn makes to money. And when he retrogrades then on June the 17th at 7 degrees, he's going to go back over some old ground and revise things and go back over old ground about things that you may have been putting into place regarding opportunities for money, jobs, revenue streams, earning structures, etc., and going back and changing it up a bit or revising it just a little bit. Also, when he goes retrograde, your earnings could slow a bit June 17th, right? At his retrograde period of, I think it's about 4 months. The point is that that's true for me because I'm taking most of half of July and August off. So surely, yes, Saturn retrograde will mean my actual cash flow and earnings will be slowed down to a trickle during the summer when he's retrograde. So it's sometimes very literal. Also, when he's here, if you have anything in your dietary style, food, cigarettes, alcohol, anything you ingest, or need to do dental work and go back or redo dental work because jaw, teeth, face is Saturn retrograde and he rules the teeth. You'll go back and see the dentist, go back and redo some dental work, maybe polish up some old fillings, I don't know. But you may also change your mind about certain foods and go, I thought I could get away with that gluten, or I thought maybe, my 2 glasses of wine a day was working. And you may revise your plans for moderation on food styles, okay? And alcohol and drugs and everything else you put in your mouth. All right, so in India, the family of origin can be the second house, and possibly an elder in the family of origin would come out of the woodwork. Somebody from your past, great grandpa Joe is going to reach out to you or something, or your grandfather, grandparent, during the retrograde on June 17th onward through the month. Now we're going to go into a little blow by blow and talk about everything that's happening step by step as we go through the month, minus the moons and not doing anything on that Rahu Jupiter, because that is being saved for its own special big video energies. But anyway, let's roll. Venus, the goddess of love, will trine Neptune. Oh, by the way, and Saturn is your ruler. That's why he's so important in your second house. He doesn't do you harm, however, here. He really does make you richer by 2026, but by dint of hard work, conservative spending, saving your money, and reliable and realistic earnings procedures and structures. Okay, moving forward, Venus trines Neptune. She does this on June 2nd and 3rd. Venus is moving through Cancer, and because she has yet to make it to Leo. That's your rentals, tenancies, pets, debts, and work and health. And she flows to Neptune in your earnings house, a dream job offer, a dream development in your work habits and routines, a dreamy opportunity that's financially lucrative for a new rental. These are all possibilities. Dreamy because Neptune in the second house is trying to bring your visions and goals and dreams for your earnings that are high and noble into reality with Saturn. And this is going to be some kind of dream opportunity around work and job, etc., and earnings on June 2nd and 3rd for most of you. And then otherwise, it's a health resolution of a health challenge created by dietary habits. And then later on the 3rd and 4th, right after that, Mercury will join with Uranus exactly together at 20 degrees. And this is a bit of a surprise in property, land, home, real estate, things that are going on in your home. Jupiter's here to make it soft, safe, and lucky. And don't forget the North Node, but that's a separate video. Jupiter hasn't been here every once a year. Uranus, the god of shock and awe and surprise at the unexpected, and Mercury, news, information, emails, phone calls, join. They've been doing that every year since 2018, but this time around, Jupiter is there as a big beneficent Santa Claus with the North Node making him even bigger, and they are having a powwow to make sure whatever this surprise energy is in this Venus-ruled house is pretty sweet. With Venus in the 7th, some of this could be coming from legal contracts, negotiations, those kinds of things. And so look for some opportunities then around the 3rd and the 4th of June or you may just have an email or a phone call or something coming through over the transom through your online world. Who knows how you get the information? But Mercury's delivering conversations and information that have some shock and surprise, but benefic and positive outcomes regarding property, land, home, real estate, where you live. And some of you may pick up and move. Some of you may have an opportunity to buy or rent or sell. All of these things are very possible, especially because Venus is still in the house of rentals. So dream rental opportunity, for example. Then later on, there's a bit of tension here between you and somebody. It can be in business partnership, client audience relationships, or even a long-term love relationship. As Venus and Pluto are in an opposition at that time, the 5th and 6th of the month, Venus is slid into 0 degrees of your Leo 7th house, where Mars has already been kicking up a storm since the 20th of May. And the first thing she does is look at Pluto in the house of you at 0 degrees. Certainly this can be difficult. It could be a big secret reveal around a significant relationship. It could be just a power struggle over values, over love, or, just kind of a falling out with a woman in your life, or a power struggle with a female ally, friend, somebody, like a client or a significant friend. And it can just be a gnarly 5th and 6th of the month time for stability in long-term love. So breathe through it. It will pass. It's very short. You don't need to necessarily blow up the house over a small disagreement. Then we also go on to the rest of the stuff. June the 9th to the 12th is going to be Venus squaring Jupiter. Two benefics squaring each other can still bring something good, maybe something lucky. And it can be, though, you need to take action, or it requires action. It's very critical tension, action orientation, June 9th to 12th. They're at 5 degrees of Leo, your 7th house of marriage, etc. Jupiter at 5 degrees in your 4th house of home. Certainly, because legal contracts and vows, you may be having some opportunity to sign a legal contract or agreement, a rental agreement, even some kind of terms of service regarding home, legal matters, home and significant other, relationship and home stories going on. I think this is mostly positive. This is a square, but two benefics squaring each other. It's like good plus good equals good. Square is just crunchy circumstances or very critical energy, very time sensitive, got to do something, got to take action, June 9th to the 12th. Then there's one very interesting and positive and lucrative wealth day on the 11th of the month, where Mercury, the god of merchandising and commerce, trines Pluto. Now everyone's going to get the same effect, but with Pluto in Aquarius, the sign of you still, right? Just before he slides out, and a trine from Mercury in the money luck house. This could be, I won the lottery kind of news on the 11th of the month, but it can also be some really powerful, positive developments with a child, with a lover, with a, sexual partner. It can also be some kind of very good, lucrative day if you have your own business and you're entrepreneurial. And the 11th looks really good for finances regarding 5th house matters, money luck, speculation, or independent business monies flowing around the 11th of the month. It's not a long time, but it's a nice day. June the 14th to the 24th, with an epicenter on the 19th of June. So the 14th to the 24th, with an epicenter around the 19th. Jupiter, the god of luck, in the house of where you live, your home and private life, land and property, legacy, wealth, and inheritances can happen here. Sextile Saturn in the house of money that you can take possession of. Now, some of you may buy a house, buy a car, sell a house, sell a car, or take possession of some kind of financial gain from something that you do from your home or something to do with your home life. Very flowy, very positive, with a retrograde Saturn, however, coming into the middle of that mix retrograde Saturn is on the 17th. So about halfway through it, Saturn turns around and he's moving very slowly. It may involve things from your past, because by the time it's exact, he is 2 days retrograde. So things from your past coming back to you regarding property, homeland, and real estate, things you do in and from your home and homeland, things happening in your domestic private life that lend itself to some kind of sweet touch in your earnings and your earning stability around June 14th to the 24th. Then or on the 25th to the 29th, Mars will square Saturn. Explosive energy. Difficult for sure. Mars will be in Leo, the house of marriage and legal contracts, business partners, and all of that, and audience and clients. And there's a square to the god of the internet, Uranus. Certainly this can speak to large troll energy if you're on the internet like I am, around the 25th to the 29th. But it can also be something to do with where you live. Uranus is the unexpected. Rahu North Node is down there with Jupiter. Mostly Jupiter's trying to bring luck. So there's a mitigating circumstance. Venus is trying to soften Mars in the 7th house, Leo. Jupiter is softening Uranus in the 4th house. So despite the tension and the electric shock quality of sudden change or sudden turnarounds or sudden new directions, this has also got positivity. So Mars may say something like a legal contract breaking apart, but it's going to work in your behalf when it comes to contracts about where you live, buying and selling, marketing, or anything like that, or rental contracts as well, anything like that, and or some disruption coming from a significant other in your life, in love, business, or client stories, but it's going to be Uranian. So I hate Uranus because it's unexpected. So I'm like, I don't know, unpredictable, unexpected, disruptive change. Mars rules change in the ancient world, change of direction, change of, momentum regarding something to do with where you live primarily, right? So we'll see what that is like. Worst case scenario, you have a firecracker of a fight with a significant other and it causes like electrical shortage in your home. I don't know. Now, finally, so don't be careful. Again, that could be a conflict with a significant partner, the 25th to the 29th. And Mars rules your house of trips and travel. Maybe you're traveling and you have a fight with your partner and it affects your home life decisions, or examples are just examples, okay? Next, we go into the soft spot at the end of the month, and this is really lovely. This is the first time we've experienced this, just so we haven't experienced the Jupiter sextile Saturn for 30 years, nor have we experienced this particular Sun trine Saturn in this particular way. Sun will be, for 30 years, the Sun will be in Cancer. Cancer is your rentals, tenancies, pets, and debts, real and karmic. Health and health routines and work routines. And your Sun shining in here, you're focused on that. You're trying to be vital. You're working on your health, all of those things during Cancer season, starting on the 21st of June. And then as the Sun is going through Cancer and is around 9 degrees of Cancer in your 6th house, what happens is there's a flowing trine to Saturn, who is moving through your earnings house. So we can say at the end of the month, from the 27th or 6th of June to the end of the month, you're going to find an opportunity arising that could be quite exciting for you, because it's going to really give you some security financially regarding the work situation, or even the opportunity to stabilize a debt situation and maybe pay off a debt. Then the other thing is there's a cazimi of Mercury on the last day of June, the first day of July. Mercury in the heart of the Sun in the sign of Cancer at 9 degrees could have a download of some sort. So pay attention to the idea of an aha, a download, an insight, as Mercury is with the Sun in such a precise contact. And that will be a Mercury going direct, going into the heart of the Sun in Cancer. When Mercury's in your 6th house too, it can be a lot of communications and stuff like that, back and forth, negotiations, conversations about things that have to do with making a deal, having conversations about how some financial situation should work out, especially if it involves work opportunity. And that's very possible with Mars, the Lord of your 10th, being bona fide by Venus during the time. So some of you are looking at an opportunity to be hired, or to get a new job, or to increase your paycheck, or some kind of financial upglow through the work house for you, the job house. Okay. Hope that was useful for you, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Check out my description box for everything I have. Get those full moon, new moon videos this month. We got a humdinger of a Sag full moon. You don't want to miss that one. Very intense. It's going to really capitulate or take over from an eclipse we had way back a couple of years ago and replay some older stories in your life. Please consider as well looking in my description box for anything I'm doing, signing up for some of my easy to get freebies, like my New Moonshine newsletter, where you're going to get all the weekly swig of cosmic moonshine news that's fit to print. Thanks for listening, Aquarius. Ciao, ciao. I'll see you on my next video, and have a happy June. I'm not even sure I'm looking at the camera. Bye, everyone.